All right, so we'll do it up until, I'm trying to show them
You're
things.
live now.
Hello. Is it just me on the screen?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Oh, my son says it hasn't even started yet for him. So that's that 20-second delay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just about. I will
All
mute
right,
now and I'll
guys.
leave you to it.
Folks or kids or whatever we're going with, that's not guys now. Julie here from Silver Spring, although for those of you in the DMV, to orient you better, it's really Wheaton. I just, that doesn't come up on my address. So if, again, you're familiar with the DC area, you might know that Wheaton has a lot of the really great Asian restaurants in it. So, including the 3 best Thai restaurants in the area. Now, Caleb, come here. So, if you guys have any questions as I'm going along, Caleb is on as Narnit, right? Come say hi.
Hello.
Hello. So just do @Narnit at him and he'll shout the questions. He can be our very own Kelly for the day. You can take drinks when he pops up in the background if need be, if you're so inclined. Oh, wait, except please, Caleb, if you can put your earphones in, that'd be great. All right, so today we are making Drunken Noodles. We're gonna go over the ingredients first. All right, so we're gonna start with the background too. I used to work at a restaurant called Ten Pen. Again, for those of you in the DC area, you might remember it. It was a Pan-Asian restaurant. And the person who did all the prep work, by the way, in the kitchen, the chef is only as good as their best prep person. And I've always known them to be women, non-white women. So there you go. They're actually the best paid people in the kitchen, believe it or not, unlike the rest of the world. And so it was a woman named Ting who would always make the drunken noodles. And then I also had a recipe from Bon Appetit that was also for drunken noodles. And this is an amalgamation of the two because I took some things I liked from that one and some things I liked from Ting's and sort of put them together. Hold on one sec with my tea. So, basic things that we need to have. So, soy sauce. I like this brand. This is my favorite brand, Sanjay. It is brewed instead of, I don't know how that makes it any different, but I do like that it only has water, organic soybeans, organic wheat, salt, organic alcohol, and that's it. It has a much richer flavor than like your Kikkomans. You can get, if you're gluten-free, you can get the same brand does tamari soy, and it's actually easier to find than the just shoyu. You can find other shoyus as well, but they tend to be more expensive than the Sanjay. All right, then we have fish sauce. This is my favorite brand because they only use anchovies, and I happen to really like anchovies. But you can find fish sauces that are made from squid or other types of fish as well. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, I don't know what to replace this for you. I just don't have any idea what replaces fish sauce in the world. The Bon Appetit said to use Golden Mountain soy. I had no idea what that was, or Golden Mountain sauce. Ting used sherry, so that's what I use instead. And I do about 1/4 cup of each. All right. What actually goes in it? I like ground pork. I get mine locally. It's very important to me to shop local. It's good for the environment. If you are a vegan, I would recommend doing, or a vegetarian, textured vegetable protein. I don't think tofu would do it, but TVP would give you the right texture. Peppers, I usually like to do red peppers, but again, like I said, I like to shop locally and in season, and green came in my box this week, so green we're using. Garlic. Do not skimp on the garlic. About at least 12 cloves. You need lots of garlic. Carrots. This is Ting's recipe. Other recipes might not have it, but Ting always put carrots in, so I do too. Ginger. Do not use powdered ginger for this. That is not okay. You can use that in baked goods sometimes, but no, not in this. So I don't really know. I think this is probably a quarter cup. I think the recipe called for 2 tablespoons. I usually think of it more as a 2-inch hunk. We have Thai chilies. I usually like them fresh, but it's really hard to get only 4 Thai chilies or to buy those. So they usually come in huge packs, which means that they get dried out by the time I finish or, get around to them. So these are dried, but, Thai chilies. If you don't have Thai chilies, about a half of a jalapeno, habanero will work. And of course, it's to your taste. So if you're cooking for people who hate spice, you can leave it out. What's that? It's not enough garlic. Who said that? Who said? Oh, Erica said it wasn't enough garlic. Okay. Sorry, Erica. Apparently, I didn't use enough garlic. Sometimes I just go ahead and use a whole head. That works too. So if you're cooking for people who hate spice or you hate spice or whatever, you can leave them out all together. That's what I had to do with when the kid was growing up. And then you can use something afterwards like this. This is one of my favorite condiments. It's sambal olek. I really hope that this is all coming out the right way for you guys and is not backward like on Instagram. Okay, and the final ingredient is onion. Also scallions if you have them. I don't have them today, so that's not gonna happen. No, I forgot something. One sec. Caleb? Can you have your mother go outside and get the basil? Thank you. Sorry. There also needs to be basil in it. Fortunately, that goes in at the end, so we have some time. But anyways, we got onion. Now, normally I like to use Thai basil, but it's a pandemic, so the less I can go to a store, the better. So fortunately, I happen to have some basil growing in the backyard and can use that. In the meantime, for those of you who hate chopping onions, as I do, I'm going to show you a really quick trick. Let's see. So you half your onion and a fast way to chop them. By the way, usually I say with this about a half an onion, but in my box this week came this little baby cutie, so that's what we're going to use. So you take it, and you see, of course, it already has its natural ridges in there. So you can cut across them, but not all the way through. I don't know if you can see me doing that. Leaving it together, but then fanned. And then this allows you to very quickly go like this. All right. And for all of you who are wondering, yes, I already washed my hands. I know that was a big thing when Ben was making noodles. So I just wanted to clarify, I came straight from the shower to cooking. Hands are very washed, don't you worry. All right, questions, comments so far? No? All right, of course, it's called Drunken noodles, so we probably should discuss the noodles. So Ting used chow fu noodles. Like I mentioned, I live in an area that is very heavily Asian influenced. And so it's easy for me, if I wanted to go get some chow fu noodles. In fact, one of the busters at 1010 lives around the corner from me, so he would grab the chow fu noodles from the store here and take them down to 1010. But I don't actually like to work with chow fu noodles. They're great if you are gluten-free, though. If you're a person who cannot eat gluten, get the chow fu noodles. They're made from rice. But I don't have good luck with them. You're really supposed to stir fry them first and then add whatever sauce it is to it. And again, the other problem is that with chow fu noodles, that you kind of have to be in an area that has them. They're fresh noodles and they have to be made every day. So that might be hard to find anyways. So the recipe from Bon Appetit said udon noodles. I have found that what people call udon noodles changes from place to place. So I just say try to get wide, flat noodles. I like ones like this. You could certainly use fettuccine if you needed to, but I do find that Asian noodles have a better texture. I think it might be that they have more gluten. They're just chewier. I don't recommend, so if you can find some sort of Asian style noodle that is wide and flat and made from wheat because you can eat wheat, do that. All right. So now we get to cooking. Now, some people like to start with the meat and then throw in all the veg. I happen to not like as crispy veg in my stuff. If you like crispier veg, you can totally wait. Okay. And I know it's healthier to have it closer to raw. I understand this, yes. But that was all oil, kids. I have a thing about texture, and I don't like crunchy things with not crunchy things. So, yeah, that might be enough. Basil, hopefully. That's what we have? Okay. It'll be enough then. You can always add more. All right. So, and especially the peppers. I really, really want to cook green peppers. All right. Thank you. So I'm just going to let those go for a few. I would turn on my fan above, but it's really loud and you wouldn't be able to hear me at all if I did. So, wow, Caleb, you really filled that up a lot. Hold on. If you do choose to use chafu noodles, you don't boil them ahead of time. They're already like soft and kind of oily. You just sort of pull them apart and throw them in a pan with oil when you stir fry them. But the ones I have need to be boiled. And I wait until everything is practically done to boil them because they come together really fast and you don't want a mushy noodle, especially not me. All right, questions or comments? Because otherwise it's about to get very boring. You have to talk amongst yourselves. We could have a fake tech problem and then everybody could drink. It'd be great. Admire my Slytherin mug. So like I said, there is the basil, which we'll do. Oh, I could show you that in the meantime. There's also tomatoes, which you don't throw into the very end because you do not want the tomatoes to get mushy. So I'll do the basil first. So when you do the basil, again, if you can find Thai basil, it's better. You want to give them a nice chiffonade, which just basically means to cut them into ribbons. All right. So I like to do that by, these are not very large basil leaves, unfortunately. Who would like to say something?
Charlotte says they love your color.
Ah, thank you. Yes, it was cherry. I spent a lot of time actually in Home Depot lifting up the tile here with the wood, with the paint color chip that I liked to figure out which color would look best. And just so you guys know, that's my paint color. Oh, no, probably best that way, right? Maybe I should have a light on. You guys can see me fine, right? It's all good. All right, so back to chiffonade. So that's essentially, I like to fold it over like this, folding it, and that allows me to make little ribbons like that. And then, no, I didn't cut myself, don't worry. Almost. That's what fingernails are for. All right. Okay. At this point, I'm going to add the pork. And the garlic. And the peppers. And the ginger. I normally get my pork from a local dairy / farm that is near where Susan lives. If Susan is on the call today or the YouTube chat, it's up closer to where Susan lives. And they deliver. And I was really, really lucky that I've been doing that already for 10 years because when the pandemic hit, I didn't have to sit there and worry about where I was getting my milk and my meat from. Unfortunately, though, well, it's a good thing they do this. It's to protect their workers. You can only get meat on now every 3 weeks, and it's in pre-done boxes, and you just basically have to be like, no, I want a pork box or a meat box or a beef box or whatever. So this past week, I had to get this at the farmer's market, but it's from like the Mennonites who have the best eggs, by the way. We haven't really been farmer's marketing a lot since the pandemic started. We've been mostly just ordering a box ahead of time, going and grabbing, but my husband had the forethought to run over to the Mennonite stand and grab the pork from that. So at this point, my pork is about half cooked. So I'm going to start putting in the sauces again. So just a reminder, we got fish sauce. And I have a feeling that Eric is sitting there going, you're not measuring. I'm like, you're right, I'm not. Now, mind you, this has a teeny tiny little hole. It takes a while for it to come out.
You want to know what kind of pork you're using?
What kind of
pork?
Well, it's ground pork. So, that usually means probably head cheese or whatever is left over from the pig once they cut it up. And soy sauce. Could show you. Oh, that's fish sauce again. And sherry. So all of these, I say about a quarter cup. I don't really know. I don't measure. I can usually tell by smell. I've cooked this so many times, I don't even need to taste it to figure it out anymore. I just know, I guess. And that's, if you're not confident in cooking, you become confident in cooking by cooking a lot and figuring it out and going with your gut. So anytime I've ever said, like looked at a recipe and been like, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. And then I've gone ahead and followed the recipe anyways. Never good. Never came out right. And that's from cooking temperatures, like cooking times, to a particular ingredient or whatnot. Just go with your gut and you should be fine, unless you're like me with plants. Like, don't ever give me a plant. If you want to say, oh, I love you, it's your birthday, the worst thing you could do to the plant world is give me a plant. It will be dead within a short period of time. I've killed rosemary. This is not good. I mentioned the basil in the back. My husband does the gardening, not me. This is not right. So tomatoes, I don't like to cut with these kinds. I like to cut them with bread knives. So the pork is almost done, which means I'm going to throw my noodles in a second. Ooh, we're doing all right for time. Okay. Come on, noodles. So the tomatoes you don't cut up too finely. You want them sort of no smaller than that. So. Usually the recipe says Roma tomatoes, which, I mean, come on, everybody. Let's admit it. Roma tomatoes are bland and they're only good for sauce. I wouldn't put that in anything if I could. And besides, again, this is what showed up in my farmer's market box. So that's what I do. I don't know if I need 2 today. I feel like I could get away with only doing 1 tomato. Yeah, I'll put both in. Why not? Any questions? Comments? No? Scintillating conversation that's going on about the world and politics? Of course not, because I'm not there. All right. We've had no tech difficulties. Ben must really be camping.
Everyone's arguing over the tomatoes in the chat
What's
again.
that? What about the tomatoes?
Everyone's arguing over tomatoes.
What are they arguing about?
Oh no, it's it's just a reference to the earlier debate about tomatoes.
Yes.
The tomato, if you will.
Right. Yes. So I can participate in that debate, not about tomatoes, but the fact that I cook a lot of Asian food and I hate cilantro and I don't use it. And no one ever notices. I also cook a lot of Mexican inspired things and I never use cilantro and no one ever notices. And they all go, wow, this is amazing. All right, so with these noodles, like I said, if you choose to use the maybe possibly udon, I don't know, they're just the wide flat noodles, you have to put them in slowly because otherwise they just gum up together. Like seriously, you can see how I'm putting in only a few at a time. I've had many, many run-ins over the years with not doing it this way. Never got it. All right, what are we at for time? We're at 12:23. All right, this will definitely be ready in 7 minutes. No problem. See, they love to clump. You gotta grab them. And yes, I'm a very messy cook. My husband hates it because he's the one who cleans. And you know how they say, clean as you cook. But why would I have I'm married to a dishwasher? He's hopefully in the shower and didn't hear that. No, I'll at least be nice. And stack my things. There we go. Put away my ingredients. It's very funny. I'm listening to myself on Mitchell's thing here, and it's always amusing to hear yourself. So you have to stir, the noodles in to the, it's not really a sauce, I guess, but whatever, the mixture. So you don't want them to get too cooked because they're going to cook a little more in the pan with everything else, particularly when I add in the tomatoes, and the basil. And yes, I sit there and I look. So with noodles, I break them and I see, I don't know if you can see, or where's my camera? There it is. It still has like a really lot of white in the middle, so it's got a minute or two. Any questions? And yes, I cook with gas. I cannot stand like those. I can't stand electric burners. I hate them so much. I grew up with them, and then we got gas, and it was amazing. And so I have a gas top oven, and then or stove, and then the oven is electric. It's called a dual fuel. They are not particularly cheap, but when we remodeled our house, gosh, that was 8 years ago now. 2012, that sounds right, 8 years ago. Most of the money went towards the kitchen, the cabinets, and the kitchen is for those of you who have received a card or seen on the group me, my favorite room in my house is my library. My second favorite room is my kitchen. And they are the two places I spend probably 90%, well, except for my office. That's the pink room, if you guys have seen that. So between those three, and we have a huge house, and that's pretty much the three rooms I migrate between. During the day, obviously. Where are we at? Wait, 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah, it is actually going to cut you off.
In 3 minutes?
In, in 4 minutes, but, I mean, we could always just,
I can get it done in 4 minutes. Have faith in me.
We could come back to the stream if you need more time. It's okay.
Nah, I got it. It's going to be done in 4 minutes. As you all might have noticed, though, the actual cooking of this didn't take a lot of time. It was mostly me explaining what all the ingredients were and my philosophies about why you should use some of them. So if you ever have sit there and think, oh, I just don't have time to cook, why don't I just order in or whatever? It'll take you the same amount of time to get that food you ordered in, unless you're ordering ramen, as it will just to cook something. All right, in they go. All right, and to my promise. All right. Drunken noodles, peoples. Drunken noodles. Yay.
Can I have some?
If you can drive up from North Carolina and I make sure that you're quarantined well, yeah, sure. All right, see, I told you we got it done. This is our dinner now for the next 2 days, just so you all know. Thank you. Cooking with
Julie. Tomorrow we have Kyle Rose, who is going to play some tunes and explain the stories behind the tunes, which is going to be cool.
Try to work this for lunch. Yes. Dinner.
Julie,
Right.
you have about a minute, so whatever else you'd like to say.
I don't have anything else to say, you can always ask me any questions about it or whatever in the group me or hit me up otherwise. Thanks for joining, guys.
All right, we appreciate it. I'm gonna head out.